Join me on the next episode of Quarantine with Lavell, where I will be talking to tax specialists and accountants, Marlena Curtis of Curtis Accounting and Tax Services in Flint, Michigan, and Aliah Minor of Calbert's Tax Services in Houston, Texas. Tax day is right around the corner, and this will be our first time doing our taxes after going through a full year of the COVID-19 pandemic. What has changed? What hasn't? What do you need to know to ensure that you're getting back everything you deserve? Well, these two young ladies bring a wealth of knowledge and understanding about the tax game. So make sure you tune in on Thursday, April 8th, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Neal Down Productions Facebook group page, as well as the Neal Down Productions YouTube channel. We're excited, looking forward to it. Spread the word, and we'll see you on the show. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Quarantined with Lavell. I am excited about our very special guest that we have today. Now, look, I know on the commercial, it said we had two, but I'm going to explain that a little later. But one of them is with us tonight, and we are excited to be talking to Mrs. Aliah Minor of Calbert's Tax Service. So we want to make sure that we give her our undivided attention, and any questions you may have, you can type those into the comments. If I see them, I'll post them up, and we'll see what she has to say because she's the expert. So we're excited to have her, but I'm also very, very excited to have you here watching tonight. You could have been anywhere else on Facebook, anywhere else on YouTube, but you decided to join us for Quarantine with Lavell, and I truly appreciate that. Thank you all so much for all of your support. Believe it or not, we're in episode 14 already for season 2, so we are excited about that. Gotta give a shout out to my lovely, amazing wife, LaKenya, who's also executive producer on the show. I truly thank God for her helping me formulate the questions, picking out the guests, and in the midst of all of that, working full-time and taking care of our 7.5-month-old son. So, sweetheart, thank you so much for all that you do. Thank you. I love you so much and appreciate you. Got to give a shout out to the young one who was born on the show. If you go back to the August 20th episode of last season, you will actually see him when he was about 9 hours old. We were in the hospital and went live with the Quarantine with Lavell episode, so you can go check the little man out. Almost unbelievable that he is 7.5 months old. Amen. We love him so much. He has literally changed our lives. So Prince Emmanuel, God bless you, my son. I love you. Shout out to my mother and my mother-in-law. Thank God for them always being supportive of the show, sharing it out, commenting, asking questions, and I just truly, truly appreciate them. And of course, got to give a shout out to my Uncle Neal and my Auntie Linda. Thank God for them and all that they do, spreading out the show, watching the show faithfully, texting me after every show, letting me know how much they enjoyed it. Amen. Thank you all so, so much. I truly, truly appreciate each and every one of you. Amen. Listen, before we jump on in, we are going to hear a quick word from our sponsor for this month. She's Everything is a holistic wellness company that makes healing easy for you. We provide soaps, butters, cosmetics, bath salts, and more that are all organically sourced and made with absolutely no chemicals, pollutants, or toxins. We also make herbal teas and provide one-on-one personal consultations to make sure your products are custom made just for you. In addition to our herbal products, we also sell beautifully designed journals to help you track your amazing journey to wellness. Contact Dawn Marie today at She's Everything. Yes, yes, yes. Shout out to She's Everything. That is my sister-in-law. She started her business and she is doing great. She's already in one store and she just started about a month and a half ago. So she's already doing great. So make sure you support her. Amen. She is amazing. The things that she can make, and they're all organic. No toxins, no chemicals, no pollutants. Everything is all natural. So make sure you check out Dawn Marie. You can give her a call at 313-615-7222. Email her at she'severything2019@yahoo.com. And I will make sure that information is on my website, nealdownproductions.com, so that you will easily be able to support She's Everything. You can follow her on Facebook, Dawn Marie, as well as on Instagram, I believe is She's Everything 2019. I'm going to have all of that information laid out. It was in the commercial, and I'll make sure that you all have that information so that you can purchase all natural products. Whatever you need, she can make for you. Soaps, butters, healing teas. I mean, literally, it's just amazing what she can do. So definitely a shout out to She's Everything. Thank you so much for being a sponsor for the show. All right, listen, we're going to jump right in. Again, I am so, so excited to have this young lady in the studio. And on the commercial, there were supposed to be two, but one of them, the young lady from Flint, Michigan, emailed me on Monday, and she unfortunately contracted COVID-19. So she is not feeling well at all. So I told her we would definitely be praying for her. Amen. And I'm so glad that Mrs. Aliah was able to join us tonight, because if not, I don't know what I would have talked about, because I don't know anything about taxes. So thank God for this young lady bailing me out. She is all the way from Houston, Texas. But don't let that distance fool you. She's going to drop some knowledge. Please help me welcome Mrs. Aliah Minor to the show. Aliah, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. How are you doing today?
I am doing wonderful and so relieved that you're able to join me tonight.
Yes, I know. I saw. I'm glad. I'm sorry to hear that she has COVID.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was too. It kind of shocked me. Like, wow, it was just, because actually Mr. David Mosley is the one that recommended the both of you. And it's actually funny because he's watching now. He just said, Lavell, thank you for having Aliah on. She's outstanding. Shout out to you and your beautiful queen. Thank you so much, Mr. Mosley. We had Mr. Mosley is
my uncle David.
Got you. Okay. Amen. So yes, he is. He's an amazing man, and we had him on before talking about becoming debt free or whatnot. My wife and I went through the Dave Ramsey program, and we're still chugging along, and we're getting
Oh,
really, really
good.
close. So he's going to be the first one I call before we do our debt-free screen. Amen.
That's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
absolutely. So thank God for him, and thank God for him recommending you to be on
Mhm.
the show tonight.
Okay.
All right. So how's the weather, first of all, down there in Houston?
So we are actually just now getting warm weather, if
Oh
you can
wow.
believe it. So normally, during this time we would have already heated up. It would have already like, probably sundresses and shorts, but we
Right.
literally are like just now warming up. Today, I think has probably been the highest that we've had. I don't know. I want to say since before the freeze, which
Wow.
today it was like maybe 80 something or 90. I think maybe it is right now,
Oh
and it's
wow.
gonna drop. But then we're supposed to get some storms or something in tomorrow. So I'm not really sure how the weather's gonna hold up, but hopefully it kind of stays because we definitely needed it.
Yes, yes. And I don't know if are you from Michigan?
Yes, I'm from Kalamazoo.
Okay, so you already know how this weather here. Everybody in Michigan right now, it's been in the 70s the last few days, but everybody is still scared to turn their heat off.
Oh, because it'll probably snow tomorrow.
Right,
Yes,
right.
Michigan. It would definitely. My mom normally is here during this time.
Okay,
So I want to say not last year because of COVID. The year before, it was April, like 15th, 16th, or something like that when she went back. And when
okay.
she went back, it was a snowstorm.
Wow,
Hmm.
wow. Yeah, yeah. My wife and I, we got married in April, and it was cold all the way up to our wedding day. I told my wife, I was like, we may have to wear snowsuits to the wedding. It was like really
Yeah,
chilly, but the Lord blessed us with a beautiful day. It was a tiny bit chilly, but it
yeah,
was really good weather. So we definitely thank God for that.
man. It's been
Yeah.
very different.
Yeah. All
Very
right.
different.
All right. Well, listen, Aliah, I again appreciate you. So let's start off. I always ask this question. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll jump into some of the questions that I have down here because we want to learn. This is, as I said in the commercial, last year when we did our taxes, the pandemic was kind of just hitting. So we didn't, I don't think it really affected us too much. But I know this year, it's like we went through a full year of the pandemic. And so I know the tax game. I'm sure there have been some changes or whatnot. So we're going to talk about that. But before we jump into that, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, to backtrack, so we actually were shut down during tax season. So we shut down in March, like
Wow.
the middle of March, which tax season is over in April. We
Hmm.
shut down in the middle of March, which then took us obviously for a ride because we had to then figure out what to do for the rest of the year and tax season because of that. So I know everybody shut down a little differently, but we shut down in March, which definitely didn't help us
Yeah.
personally. But that is it is what it is for that. There's nothing we could do about that at that
Yeah.
time. But
Yeah.
so about me, so obviously my name is Aliah Minor. I am originally from Kalamazoo, Michigan. I went to school at Jackson State University. Okay, go
Okay.
Tigers. Is where I got my undergrad and my graduate degree from. From there, I moved to Houston. I have been doing taxes now for 11 years. I worked under someone for 2 years, and then I branched off on my own, and I've had that for the last 9 years. So I actually
Nice.
started off teaching high school math when I first got out here, and
Okay.
that's what I was doing in the at the same time that I was doing taxes, and then I finally just had to let one of them go, and I left teaching, unfortunately, and then I just did taxes from there on out.
Got you. Okay. All right. So, is Calbert's Tax Services, is that yours?
Yes, Calbert. So my maiden
Nice.
name is Calbert.
Ah,
So
okay.
everything that I touch has my name on there.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
my maiden name is Calbert. So it's been Calbert's Tax Service for a long time. I recently got married actually last year in the midst of the pandemic. We got married
Nice.
in September. So now I mean the Calbert's Tax Service has been around, is who
Mhm.
I am for a long time. So that probably will stay.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, yeah.
my last name has changed. So
Got you. Got you. All right.
mhm.
Well, that's awesome. That is awesome. So I know you said you taught math. for a while. But what made you want to go into accounting and tax services?
So I actually started doing taxes on the side of teaching. It wasn't something I was trying to get into. It was something that was just, oh, I'm in a new city, I'm in a new state, I need some extra money to be able to, I'm coming from Jackson, Mississippi. Houston has so much going on. Every weekend I was, let's figure it out. So I was teaching, but I was like, we need extra money for these little other habits you have of shopping and going out. So one of my friends that I went to college with was helping one of his classmates with a tax office, and she needed some people. So I was a business major. So I was like, okay, well, I'll come and work on the side and do it. And that's kind of how that happened. So I worked on the side, but what I realized while I was doing taxes that people really just don't know. People really just don't know just not about taxes, but even just how to fill out paperwork properly when you first get a job from your W-4, or like what you really, should do with your tax return, or even how to maximize, getting the most money back during tax season without owing the IRS, or why they owe, or it ended up really being more education than anything else when it came to taxes. So that's kind of how I just got into it. It wasn't intentional.
Oh, wow.
It was like I'll do this on the side. And then once I started doing it, I was kind of like, okay, I could do this. And then it was kind of like, let me kind of explain to you why, stuff looks like this, or why the IRS looks at it like this, or, why this doesn't work for you, or why you should or should not do this, and what's the effects. So it ended up being more teaching for me than it was taxes.
Wow.
I've just been good with numbers.
That is a blessing. That is really a blessing. So yeah, that is awesome. All right, so let's jump in. So my first real question here is, how much has tax preparation changed since COVID-19 coronavirus hit? Because I'm sure you've had to do a lot of reading and a lot of studying and catching up, and I'm sure things are shifting and changing. So just tell us a little bit about how much for you and your company, how much tax preparation has changed since the pandemic hit.
So a lot of the changes for the most part have probably been how we operate. A lot of the tax law, some of the tax law stuff has changed.
Okay.
But that was because Trump changed stuff, tried to change stuff when he left. Okay. So some stuff takes effect, some stuff does not take effect. But this year it's a lot more, it's more credits this year for self-employment people.
Okay.
If you're self-employed, a lot of credits that you normally wouldn't get, or we have bigger credits this year that you would receive if the person that's doing your taxes knows, what to look for, what to tell you what it is. Then you will get those credits for self-employment. There are a lot of credits, but and then there are credits, you get more credits now for if you had to buy, a lot of the PPE stuff, if you had to buy like the mask, sanitizer and all that. So a lot more medical deductions that we have this year as well. And then you have the credits for children and all that stuff has increased. And then that takes effect in a couple of months. Unemployment has changed. So, and then some of the daycare stuff has changed. So some of the stuff that directly affects certain people have a certain demographic, I feel like has changed. But then some of the other stuff, if you don't have certain things, hasn't changed for you.
Got you. Okay. Yeah. I know I was particularly affected because I've actually been laid off since last March.
Right.
I haven't been back to work yet. So they haven't called. I work at a convention hotel, and obviously there are no conventions. I work in the banquet department. So there are no banquets. Now the hotel has been operating very, very low. I think maybe 5 or 10% occupancy, but I don't even work in that area. I work in banquets, so there have been no banquets or anything like that. So I have been, affected, by that as well. But thank God the Lord, blessed my wife and I to come up with a plan. So for this whole time I've been laid off, and she was off for a while when she had the baby, and we never missed a beat.
Yeah.
We never missed a beat. Thank
God. Which I know a lot of people, I know the stimulus helped the last year. with, help with some bills and things. And then I know the boost in unemployment with you getting the extra $600 and extra $400 has also helped, because normally a lot of people that, you might have only got the minimum has seen more money than they, were actually making while they were working. They've seen it from unemployment. So I do know that has helped. And then with the taxes now, when you go to file for unemployment, the first $10,200 of that is not taxable. So then that has also been a benefit to people that it looks like your income is so high, or for those people that didn't have taxes come out of unemployment because they couldn't afford it. And then for those people that did, so much of it's not taxed, and then you have taxes coming out on top of whatever else you have, has given them a boost in their refunds that they normally wouldn't see. I've probably seen more larger refunds this year of people getting $10,000, $15,000, $17,000 in a refund this year than I've seen in the last 9 years.
Wow. So that kind of answered, my mother-in-law asked this question, how did it help unemployment? So that kind of answered that. Right
yeah, there, I mean, especially if you've had children, like if you have kids and you have unemployment, normally normally unemployment is not taxable. Like normally you don't get earned income from unemployment, but this year, for what they changed because of COVID, you actually get earned income this year. So a lot of my clients that 1 or 2 kids, or all you had was unemployment last year, and you had taxes come out, which is still just 10%, have seen the biggest benefit has been their refunds have been over 10 grand.
Wow. All right, me and my wife got to work on having some more kids.
Listen, this is the year. I have told all of my clients that have come in, this would have been the year to have children. Like if you didn't have any right now, this is it. And if you're working on some, you better work on one and work on another one before taxes the next year. Okay. Right. This is the year for the kids.
Yes. Okay, awesome. So this next question here, you may have already kind of touched on it, but I'm just going to ask it. So what are some important things that we need to know as we prepare to get our taxes done this year? What are some things that just the average person, like I don't know anything about taxes. Thank God I have an accountant, so she took care of us, but just the average person who doesn't really know much about taxes, what are some of the things that we kind of need to know as we prepare to get our taxes done, if they haven't, because tax day was supposed to be next Thursday.
Supposed to be, yes.
Which was why I actually wanted you all on this episode to kind of get those last minute people who had a week to go, but they ended up moving it to May 17th or something, I believe, something like that.
But it's May. It's May for most of the world. For Texas, Louisiana, and Oklahoma, it is June.
Oh, okay.
So because of the freeze and the storm stuff that has happened, our taxes are due June 15th. And then for everybody else, every other state is due May.
All right. Now, listen, everybody, that does not mean just because we got this little grace period, that does not mean wait till May to do your taxes or June to do your taxes. Get them done now.
Please come now. I don't want to be on May.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. So what are some of the things that we need to know, some important things that you would just kind of give us some advice on about as we prepare to do our taxes?
So one thing I would tell you to do is make sure you have all of your paperwork. So if you have a W-2, if you have a mortgage, you have a 1098. If you're in school, you have a 1098-T. If you received unemployment, you have a 1099-G. If you had health care from the marketplace, which they call Obamacare, but it's marketplace, you have a 1095-A. If you took the money from your 401k last year, you also have a 1099-R. If you have Social Security, you have a 1099-S, SSA.
Okay.
So a lot of those are just some of the forms that you will need.
Okay.
You need to kind of just make sure that if you don't remember having something, kind of just look it up to kind of see if you did or did not have it as far as paperwork, because paperwork is the biggest thing that will hold up your taxes. Is paperwork. The 1095 stuff, especially stuff that is government, that you got from the government. The 1099, 1095A is Obamacare. So, or the marketplace. I mean, I said Obamacare. It's the marketplace. So that will hold up your taxes every time. Unemployment is coming from the government. It will hold up your taxes. You won't get your money back. It'll just sit there.
Wow.
So a lot of the paperwork, we need to just make sure that we are prepared with paperwork. That's
Gotcha.
what I would say.
All right. All right. So, all right, listen, everybody. Make sure you listen. This young lady is an expert in this area. This is her business. This is what she does. So, make sure you get all of your paperwork in order. And as we go on, so the next question is about the stimulus checks, right? We got 3.
We got 3.
We got one last summer. We got one.
April.
Well, we got ours in the second one we got in January. I don't know if that's when it
right.
came
So
out.
the first one came in April.
Okay.
The majority of the people got it in April. You might have got it a little later, but majority of people got it around April 15th. In April and May, you would have got the first one, which was $1,200 for individuals, $500 for dependents. If you are married filing jointly, you got $2,400 for the 2 of you guys, which is still $1,200 per person.
Right.
17 and under, 16 and under got $500 for children, for your dependents, qualifying dependents, and then anybody over 17, you didn't receive one.
Gotcha.
The second one would have come to you between December and February.
Okay.
Which was $600 per person. And then the third one, which you would have just received in March, would have come to you, which was $1,400.
Yes.
And then a lot of people that have Social Security right now, that get Social Security that don't file taxes, would have just received their stimulus today. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because I saw on your Facebook page, on your business page, I saw you had a post like that. The stimulus check is coming. Calm down, it's coming. It'll be here I think you said this week or next week. So yeah.
Yes, we've been getting calls about stimulus, and I'm just like, listen, just be patient. Patience is a virtue. It's coming. Yes. It's coming.
Absolutely. So now, did us receiving those 3 stimulus checks, I know this is a weird question, but did it help us or hurt us? Like, is this something we have to pay back, pay taxes on, pay back, anything like that? So getting these 3 stimulus checks, which equaled out for the most part to what, $3,200 per person?
Depending on if you got all of them.
Yeah. So did it help us or did it hurt us?
So it didn't do either one, actually. So let me take that back. If you received it, it did not hurt you. Okay. It also doesn't necessarily help. I mean, it helped you personally, but it didn't do anything to your taxes. It doesn't affect your taxes at all.
Okay.
We don't pay it back. We don't have to pay taxes on it. It's actually a credit. So the stimulus is a credit. If you received it on your paperwork when the person did your taxes, you would have had to let them know if you received it and how much you received. So, example, let's say you received the $1,200 the first time and the $600 the second time, which means that you're not claiming the rebate credit. So, with you not claiming the rebate credit, your taxes should have been fine. You shouldn't have the issue. It should have went straight through. Now, if you didn't file your taxes for 2019 or 2020, then you haven't received the second stimulus or the third stimulus. And in order for you to get the second stimulus, you have to file 2020 taxes, which means the stimulus that you did not receive, let's say you didn't receive the $1,200 or the $600. Well, that then gets added to your taxes. So then your taxes potentially go up $1,800 because the stimulus is now inside of it. So the stimulus didn't hurt you. It could only help you.
Got you. Okay. All right. So now, when COVID hit, of course, I was one of them, a lot of people got laid off. I know you said that Calbert's shut down also. So what tips would you give to those of us who are receiving unemployment benefits?
If you're still receiving unemployment, one, I would tell you to make sure you have taxes coming out.
Yes.
That is the first thing. To make sure you have taxes coming out. And then I would tell you, if possible, if you can take any part of your unemployment and save it, I would tell you to put something in savings. Like if you can take 10% of whatever's coming out, whatever is coming every 2 weeks when you get it like a paycheck, if you can afford to put something in savings, even if it's $10 or $15. You know, if it's something, I would tell you to put that away, just because you don't know when your unemployment will run out, especially with the amount that you're getting right now with the extra on there. And then if you don't know when you're going back to work, you don't want to be in the same situation you were in the first time or worse,
Right.
because you now can't find a job, your unemployment has stopped, and then you have depleted everything, or you never had anything to start with. So I would definitely say to start putting something to the side, even if you put it in a savings account and you don't touch it, or if I have my clients use an app called Digit.
Okay.
And with the Digit app, Digit takes so much out of your account. It takes the change. It takes the a couple dollars. It reads your account basically to see what you have coming out, basically what it can afford to take out to save for you, that you don't and you won't miss it. And it does it. You don't really know that it's taking it. So by the time you even look at the app, if you need something, your car breaks down or something is due, you have this other money over here to the side, which then helps because you're not seeing it. You're not really paying attention that it's coming out. You're not having to physically go take it out and put it somewhere. And you're not having to go back to HR and see if you can change your direct deposit stuff so that, you know, it changes or something, or so that you have it split. And then I think with unemployment, you can't do that anyway. So Digit is an app that I use personally, and I have my other clients use, that helps them. So by the time you go back and look at it, you're like, oh, I have this money sitting in here and I didn't even know it was there.
Okay. And that's DIGIT.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so listen, everybody, get the app. I don't know, is it a free app or?
It's free.
Okay, yeah. So definitely download Digit, DIGIT, the Digit app, and check that out. My wife and I will look into that as well. So yes, thank you for that. Thank you. Okay, so my next question is, what would you say to the people, because you kind of alluded to, you know, some people who haven't done their taxes. If you have some people who haven't done their taxes in maybe a year or maybe even a couple of years, what's the importance of them making sure that they get their taxes done?
So for those, you know, there's this thing that people think, oh, I can wait 3 years and not do my taxes, and then I don't get in trouble. Well, what happens is it's $1.6 billion that just sits in the IRS's bank that people don't file their taxes. And then when you look up, it's too late because you've missed the window. So if you are due a refund and you haven't filed in a long time, anything over 3 years you won't get.
Oh, wow.
So it only goes back 3 years for you to be able to get a refund. But you also need to know if you owe. So part of the problem is what the IRS gets is only the W-2s, the 1099s, the numbers, right?
Okay.
So they don't take into account that you have kids, you have a house, you have any of these other things. So you end up getting a letter from the IRS that says you owe us so much money because you haven't filed, versus you have kids, you have a house, you have all these other things that you now have to come file. But then you have to make sure you have all of your paperwork, because you now have to send them everything that's on your tax, every documentation, every time somebody mowed the lawn at your rental property, every time, every medical bill that you paid. Like, let's say you had $10,000 worth of medical bills in 2018, but you hadn't filed taxes for 2018, but now you want to write it off. Well, you can write it off, but now you have to find $10,000 bills worth of bills to send to them. So it's not an advantage to wait just because you don't feel like filing, or you wait, or you've been lazy, or whatever situation may be. It's not a benefit because you then have to send all of the documentation in to the IRS to show them that this is what it is. So I mean, I don't tell people to wait, even if you have to file an extension through October, to just do that, because it's so much more work that you have to do on your side to file back taxes than it is for you to file on time.
Mm.
And it's not, but it's also not a benefit to you because you now have to pay somebody. You have to pay out of pocket to somebody to file these back taxes because you can't do it on your own. So every year, once the year changes and the software changes, it changes. So you can't then go back and like, oh, I'll do TurboTax for 2017. You cannot. Unless you go buy the software for TurboTax or you go buy the software for some other company, you can't go back and file it online. So you have to go to somebody. But then if you have so many years to file, you have to pay that person for every year that you have to file. And people assume, or people think in their mind that, it should only be $100 or it should only be 150 or $200. Whatever in your mind you feel like the number that you want to pay is not what it's going to be because it's still, you're not paying for how long it takes us to do your taxes or, I only made so much money. That's not what you're paying for. You're paying for our time and for our experience for what we can do to get you the money back or to get you down from owing or whatever. That's what you're paying for. Even if it takes me 30 minutes, it's taking me 11 years to get you down to 30 minutes to get all the stuff in that I need to get. So from all the education that I've had to the certifications to the CPA, that's you're paying for the knowledge of what I can do to get it done. Not that, oh, it only took you 30 minutes and I'm only getting $5 back. No, that's not what you're paying for.
Right. So now, would it be safe to say, just kind of based on what you were just saying, it seems to me like this would be the year to go ahead and get all of that done in case you do owe, because the stimulus money is going to be added into that. So anything that you owe, you would have a little extra to be able to pay that off so you don't have to worry about it when next year hits.
That's the stimulus. So, and even with the stimulus, right? So let's say you owe back taxes right now. Let's say you owe back taxes. You haven't filed 19 and 20 because you owe back taxes, but you want your stimulus. Well, but let's say this year you're supposed to get a refund for some reason. Outside of the stimulus, let's say your refund was $3. But with the stimulus, you're going to get the full $1,800. Well, the IRS is not going to touch your stimulus.
Okay.
So the $1,800 that you're supposed to get minus whatever the fees are, for the person doing your taxes, is you will still receive that stimulus money, regardless if you owe the IRS right now or not. You will still receive the stimulus money. But people don't want to file. But if you don't file 2020 is what you have to file. If you don't file 2020, then you won't receive the stimulus.
Oh, wow.
You won't receive it because they put the credit on 2020. So even if you go back and file 2019, you're not going to get it because the credit is on 20 to show I did or did not receive it. So the IRS is trying to make you get up to date with your taxes if you want this money. So people that haven't filed 18 through 20, your best bet is to go ahead and file it. And the difference is going to be if you file 20 and don't file 19 or 18, they're going to hold 20 because they're going to say they can't verify who you are. So then you're going to have to file 19 at least or 18 to be able to get your money for 20.
Nice. Okay.
So there's not a benefit of waiting.
Okay. All right. Awesome. I got a couple of questions coming in. My uncle just texted me. He said he has a serious tax question for you, and I am going to give your contact information out at the end. So make sure that you all continue to watch to the end. Matter of fact, I put it up now just for a second, just to get a general idea. That's Calbert's Tax Service in Houston, Texas. You can call 713-239-2286. You can also go to the website, calberttaxservice.com.
With an S. Calbert's with an S.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna change. Let me change that right now. So I want to make sure that everybody has the correct information.
Calbert's with an S.
Okay, so yes, go to the website, calberttaxservice.com, and you can go to Facebook or Instagram and just put in at Calbert's Tax Service LLC, and you can follow them on Facebook or Instagram, and I'm sure you can ask questions that way, but you can call this number, 239-2286. Make sure you give Calbert's a call, and you can get that. And I'll make sure I put this information back up. We're not done yet. I got a couple more questions. So, make sure you all keep watching. And actually, before we go on to my next question, and I do want to say this. You just said that there's almost $2 billion worth of money. Because we always, you know how we are with the government, all they do is take.
They
They got $2 billion.
It's just, it
sitting
sits there. And it increases every year because people don't file. So either people don't file because they think, they're not going to get any money back, or it's just not really worth it, or you don't want to pay somebody to file it, or whatever the situation may be for the reason you don't file. Or you moved and you didn't do a forwarding address, whatever it is. People just don't file taxes. People just like, oh, I'll just wait for some reason, and they just don't do it.
Yeah. So listen, everybody, do what you have to do. Do not let that stimulus money go. Do not let that $2 billion keep adding up. Go ahead and get what's ours. 'Cause I know, we have a problem. A lot of times we don't research and get what, there are a lot of scholarships for Black people and African-American students out there. We don't tap into that stuff, and we don't pull on it. And it's just sitting there. It's just sitting there wasting away.
It's a lot of money that just sits there, from grants to everything. And because of COVID, would have been the year to look into all of it. Everything that they offered small business, I told all my clients to apply for it, or I applied for it, or I sent out different things I sent out emails to all of my clients back to back about all of the different stuff that I had learned, like stuff that was coming out, or stuff that you could apply for to get you any type of grant money or anything. Even whatever, what's going on with the SBA right now. The SBA now is giving out more money for loans.
Okay.
So the PPP is extended through next month. If you hadn't applied for the PPP, that's extended through next month. And then the SBA is now is increasing. If you got a loan from them because of COVID, sometime last year, they're now sending emails to increase the money to the max of 150 or whatever the max is based off your income, to give you that money, because people are still struggling. So so this is the year to, I'd rather have it and not need it than not need it and have it. Then have it, I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Absolutely.
This could be the year to get it.
Absolutely. Actually, you may have inadvertently answered this question, but your uncle, Mr. Mosley, asked this question here. Are they allowing business owners to file lost income due to COVID on taxes, even though they were not eligible for small grants or loans to help bail them out?
So if you file a loss, you won't get the loan, or you won't qualify for PPP. So what I would tell you to do is, if you haven't filed for the PPP, the first draw yet, or if you got rejected, I would tell you to file again with your 2020. But if you haven't filed 2020's taxes yet, then you need to file with a draft of your schedule. Okay? So if you file with the draft Schedule C, which means you're still working on it, but you have most of your income is on there. You have expenses on there. If it's done, if it's not done, and it might be done and you just haven't filed the taxes yet. If you file a draft Schedule C and get that into the bank, you should then qualify for the PPP. But if you have taken a loss on your business, then you won't qualify. But the problem, what I've seen is, it also depends on what you put on your paperwork. Because if you are a sole proprietor, you are LLC sole proprietor, they should only go off your gross. They shouldn't go off your bottom line. So if they go off your gross, then you still qualify.
Okay.
So it depends on what you click on your paperwork to show what they're going off of.
Gotcha.
And then that also makes a difference.
All right. Good questions. If you all have any other questions, go ahead and type those in. And I'm trying to I'm checking both computers to make sure that I catch everything. So thank you all so much for the questions so far. And if you have any more, go ahead and shoot them so we can pull on this wealth of knowledge from Mrs. Minor here. All right. So I only have one more question here. So if you all have a question, go ahead and type it in now. So this last question is, what about people who try to file their taxes using their last paycheck stubs? Is that something we should be doing,
Oh my
or?
gosh. Listen, every year, I put this is probably my first post every year, and I say you cannot file with your last paycheck stub. I'm not sure where people got it from that you can, but majority of people, your last paycheck stub and your W-2s do not match.
Mm,
And they really didn't match this year because of the payroll stuff that changed, the laws that changed at the end of the year. They do not match. It is illegal to file with your last paycheck stub. The IRS, that's why I want to say a couple years ago, the IRS started putting verification numbers on your W-2s because
mm,
they could then find out who was filing with their last paycheck stub, what company was doing it, and then they were shutting you down. So you get shut down, you get fined, and then the person with the refund don't get your refund because you have filed with your last paycheck stub instead of your W-2, and the numbers don't match.
mm.
And the
Wow.
numbers cannot match because of changes at the end of the year with the IRS. They cannot match because of your job and how they do their stuff at the end of the year and how they roll stuff out cannot match. I had a client that her last paycheck stub said she made $79,000 because of how they do their stuff versus her W-2 said she only made 45.
Wow.
So the IRS and that's because of all the stuff that they are put into their, the stuff that they have that go into their stuff for the district that she was in. So but the IRS gets what's on the W-2s versus you filing your last paycheck stuff and it's wrong. So now they looking like, well, this looks like fraud. So now send me the other information, and now you can no longer file electronically.
Mm.
So
Wow.
that is just not. I get that every year, and we can do estimates off your last paycheck stub,
Hmm.
but we cannot file with them. I can give you an estimate, tell you more or less what you got to look like depending on the income that comes in when your W-2 gets here. But
Hmm.
actually filing with that, you cannot do.
Wow. Listen, y'all, we got to stop trying to get over. Cut it out. Cut
And I
it
just
out.
don't, and I don't get it because you're rushing in here in the beginning of January, right? To file your taxes. Maybe it's a race to the kids, like who's filing kids first. I'm filing, or
Mm.
daddy filing, whatever. But you still can't. I mean, even when we hit submit, the IRS still doesn't have, lets everything go through on a certain day. So
Mm.
even if you file January 1st, like this year, the IRS said, well, we're not accepting returns until we're not releasing anything to February 16th. So
Mm.
that means your stuff is now sat here for a month or so, which is fine. But you did it with your last paycheck stub, and now your W-2 is here, and now it's different. So
Mm.
now you gonna have to wait. We can't
Yeah.
amend it. We can't do nothing until the IRS say something, because otherwise we're just sitting here with the
Right.
wrong information because you was such in a rush because you was filing with your last paycheck stub.
Wow.
Mm.
Yes, yes. Okay, listen, Aliah, I got two more questions that just popped up. So my buddy Arthur Williams, he says, what about people on welfare? Do they have their taxes done so that they can get the stimulus, or do they automatically receive it because they are in the government's database because of them receiving governmental assistance?
People on welfare. Sorry, tell me. I need a little more. Is that people that like don't work and they just get assistance, like get Social Security? Is it people that are like low income people?
Mm,
So
okay.
much so. Okay, so let's say this. So if you are if you don't normally file tax as a non-filer because you not because you just can't work. Um, let's say you're on Social Security or something like that. You did not necessarily have to file your taxes because they because they did automatically send it to you. Now, if you are low income and they just don't work, then you miss out on the stimulus. Like in order to get the stimulus, you have to have filed some type of taxes. Now, it's a lot of low income people or people that are on welfare. I'll just say that still file taxes. That they may do they may be self-employed and they have 4 or 5 children. So if you are on some type of government assistance and you don't, let's say you don't work for anybody, but let's say you braid hair out of your house, or you clean houses, or you paint, or you rake yards, or you clean bricks, or whatever you come in and tell your tax person that you do, and you have 3 or 4 kids, regardless if you get government assistance or not, earned income credit is for those people that are low, basic to moderate income. Because think about it. If I have one child and I make less than $10,000 or less, then I get the full credit of earned income for my child, which is like $3,000 or something for the credit, on top of the additional child tax credit. Okay, so I can self-employment and have one child and still walk away with $3,000, because earned income credit is for the people basically that are under a certain income for you to get the full credit. So for those people that, even with unemployment, if you only have unemployment, you have 1 kid, and my unemployment for the year was only $12,000, and I have a couple of kids, my refund coming back is gonna be more than what I made for the rest of the year. So it's not just because they have government assistance doesn't mean anything. But if they don't file, they won't receive the stimulus. But majority of those people have filed taxes.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Okay, so I got one more question here so far. If anyone else has a question, hurry up and get it in. I don't want to hold Mrs. Minor up too much longer here. But this next question is from my mother, and it's a lot. So I'm gonna put it up on the screen. It's probably gonna cover up both of our faces, but I want to make sure that I get this out here. Okay. So she says, first of all, I want to say thank you so much for sharing all this good information with us. I diddle that. Thank you so much. She says, my question is, I'm a nurse. And I was told that the IRS says that you can no longer claim the cost of your nursing uniforms, shoes, books, and other things related to my profession. I've been claiming those things for many, many years up until last year. I was told that it stopped. Do you know why that is?
Yes. Okay. So, our ex-president, Mr. Trump, changed the tax law in 2017 to 2018. The tax law changed. And when the tax law changed, he took away the 2106, and he increased the standard deduction, which means for those people that itemized with all the stuff that she's naming, and the people that have mileage for driving, for sales, or whatever they did, and all of that. Well, he took all of that away. So when he took that away, that then meant he took away to be able to write off your uniforms, your cleaning, your shoes, all the things you buy for work that you use for work, he took away. So because he took that away, that's why you just don't have it. Unless you are in the reserve, you are a performing artist, you have some type of impairment, or you are reserve, impairment, performing artist, and it's one more. Unless you're one of these 4 things, then you can claim all of that. But because he took it away, you can claim none of it. The difference is with impairment, it doesn't give you really a good definition of what impairment is. Besides, if you have something that you need for work, that if you do not have it, you cannot work, then that is an impairment.
Okay.
So, but it doesn't give us a clear definition of what impairment is. That's all it says. So You know, you take that how you want to take that.
Right.
But that's everybody's interpretation is what their interpretation of it is.
Mm,
But that is why a lot of that stuff is no longer available unless you are in a state where there's still state tax. Like in Texas, we don't have state tax, so it's not a benefit for us. But if you're in a state where you can write the stuff off for the state, you can still write it off. The difference is when it flows to the schedule, because he raised the standard deduction for everybody, you now have to have spent so much more money for it to even count. And
okay.
if you haven't spent that, then if you're going to somebody that's preparing your taxes, then you're just getting charged for the form where the form is not necessarily helping you. So
Mm,
for a head of household, you now have to be at $18,000, but that means you have to have spent between medical, dental, vision, if you have property taxes, if you have given money to charity, like the church tithing, on top of all that entire form has to now be over 18,000. And if it's not, then it's not a benefit to
whoa! I thought it was 10,000.
you. So it increased. He increased all of it. So like medical stuff, for just that portion to affect you, you have to, or for you to be able to write the stuff off, you had to have spent 10%. It was 7.5%, and then it went to 10% of your AGI. So if you made $50,000 last year, well, you need to have at least spent 5,000 for medical. And most
Wow.
people are not, unless you're having a baby, you have to meet a deduction, or you have some type of surgery, and you having the pay for the surgery, you have to go back and pay for the specialist, you have these prescriptions or all of this stuff. People aren't really, you're not really just, unless you're just paying your medical bills because you've had them for a while,
Hmm.
you're not necessarily just spending 12 and 13 grand on medical,
Mm,
going to the doctor or going to the dentist. The difference is if you meet your deductible, then your deductible was high for most people. So that's at least something. And then the prescriptions and all the other stuff, you can just go to Walgreens or go to CVS or wherever you get that stuff from and just ask them for a printout at the end of the year and they'll give you
mm,
that. So then you don't have
okay.
to keep up with all the receipts and stuff, but then that gives you a total as well.
Okay.
So that kind of helps. But the reason you can't write that stuff off is because Trump took it away.
Uh, my my mother said, "Wow, I should have known Trump had something to do with it."
He definitely did. He definitely
Yeah.
did.
And then my buddy Arthur, who asked about the welfare, he said, "Okay, my question was answered. Thank you. When we were younger, my mom was on welfare with no outside income until her 6 kids, were older. I was just curious as to how are today's welfare families treated when it comes to taxes and the stimulus." So,
Yeah, they would have had to file something. But most people that get government assistance,
mhm.
um, most of them file some type of unemployment.
Okay.
I mean, not unemployment, it's some type of self-employment. Most people aren't just sitting around doing nothing. Even if they're not reporting it to the government, they're not sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when it comes to tax time, you know, they're like, oh, well, this is what I was doing throughout the year because anytime you make over $400 for the year, you have to report it. So
Okay.
let's say, you had me babysit your kids, and I did it a couple different times during the year, and it was over $400 for the
Hmm.
year. Well, that amount plus my 6 kids, you know, gives me money on my taxes.
Mm,
So, people have figured out a way to still
right.
file taxes.
Gotcha.
Hmm.
All righty. I just have this one last thing here, and if anyone, I don't see any more questions coming in, so I appreciate you. But my last thing is just give us any final advice about what we should be doing to prepare to get our taxes done this year, and then I'll have you to after you answer that, we'll give out your information, and so people can get in contact with you.
You said, what should I ask me the question?
Yeah, just give us any final advice about whatever it is we need to be doing to make sure we get our taxes done this year. Just any last remarks or any advice that you want to give out to us about what we should be doing to make sure that we get these things done?
Well, what I would say to make sure that you do get your taxes done is you don't know if the government is going to give us another check. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
We have already received 3 checks from the government. They are pushing for to get us more money for different things. People are not back to work. The COVID cases are rising. It looks like that we are probably even with the vaccine, cases are still rising, which
Mm-hmm.
means somewhere, at some point, something is going on and something is not working, which means something getting shut down of some sort or something again. If that will happen, if it won't happen, I do not know.
Right.
But I will tell you not to wait just because you don't know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, because you don't know what's going to happen, I would just be prepared in case.
Mm-hmm.
So, you need to make sure that stuff is filed and they have it done. Otherwise, you'll be in the same situation that you're in now or that you were in, and you're still waiting to get stuff. And it's a year later and you still haven't received the first or the second one. Or it's months later and you still haven't received something because everybody else has done it. So, I would tell you this is the year to go ahead and get caught up. This is the year to go ahead and file right now before the deadline, even if you need an extension to file to get an extension done, just so you'll have it done.
Okay. All right, listen, everybody. We have been talking today to Mrs. Aliah Minor of Calbert's Tax Services. And I just want to put her information up here again. It's Calbert's Tax Service. It's in Houston, Texas. The phone number is 713-239-2286. The website is www.calbertstaxservice.com. And you can go on Facebook or Instagram and just type in at Calbert's Tax Service LLC to be able to get in contact. Now, Miss Aliah, so if someone lives here in Michigan and they want you to do their taxes, is that possible? Can
You
they?
can. So I actually have a lot of clients in Michigan because
Okay.
that's where I'm from. So I know a lot of people out there. But you can still you can email me, you can fax me or email me the information. It doesn't make a difference where you are. We can do taxes everywhere, and we do.
Okay.
So all the stuff is still the same, regardless if you sit in front of me or not. The only difference is if you are not here, we will do a Zoom because I have to be able to see who you are, especially when you're new. So we'll do a Zoom meeting. I'll do everything as if you were sitting here while you were on Zoom, and then that is basically how that goes. So you get the same information as if you were sitting in front of me. But you can email me the information if you need to, or you can call and I can give you the information, and then that's kind of how that goes.
Okay, what's the email? I'm going to put that in now so it'll be up on the screen.
So you can put info@calbertstaxservice.com.
Info@calbertstaxservice.com. All righty, let's see here. Okay, so again, all of our information, Calbert's Tax Service in Houston, Texas, 713-239-2286. Go to the website, calbertstaxservice.com. Facebook, Instagram, Calbert's Tax Service LLC, or you can email info@calbertstaxservice.com to make sure that you are able to get in contact with her. You're going to be getting a call probably tomorrow morning from my uncle. Well, he's my big brother. I call him uncle. My big brother, Elder Brian Hicks. He'll be definitely giving you a call. Elder Brian, don't forget, they are 2 or 3 hours behind us.
We're 1 hour, so we open at 8. So at our 8 o'clock is your 9 o'clock.
All right,
we open. So
probably around 9:01, you'll be getting a call.
Getting a phone call.
Yes. All right, listen, Miss Aliah, thank you so much. Your uncle, thank you so much, Mr. Mosley. He said I'm a great host. He enjoyed the show. He said, great job, Aliah.
Thanks.
Hey, man. My mom said, excellent show. Thank you so much. So listen, we truly appreciate you. I have all of this information on Facebook and YouTube in the descriptions. So please make sure that you click you can just click on the website, go directly to the website. The phone number is there. I have to go back and put this email address in. But Miss Aliah, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me on here. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Again, we appreciate you. Thank God for you, and we appreciate the work that you're doing.
No problem. I'm always here to help. So just, remember to come on over. Come
Yes.
on over.
Thank you again. You have a wonderful evening.
You too.
Alrighty. All right, again, listen, we were talking to Mrs. Aliah Minor of Calbert's Tax Service. This is our information right here. This information is in the description on Facebook as well as YouTube. I'm going to put it on my website as well, nealdownproductions.com. You will be able to contact Miss Aliah, Calbert's Tax Service in Houston, Texas. The phone number 713-239-2286. You can go to the website, calbertstaxservice.com. Facebook and Instagram is Calbert's Tax Service LLC. Email info@calbertstaxservice.com. Make sure you reach out to her. She is a great help. So thank God for her. Amen. Elder Brian said, great. I know he'll be in contact. My mother-in-law said, awesome show, great info. Thank God, thank God, thank God. And listen, I want to make sure that I reiterate our sponsor. She's everything. This is my sister-in-law, y'all. She started her business, and it is already booming, so make sure you reach out to her. 313-615-7222. You can email her at she'severything2019@yahoo.com. Facebook is Dawn Marie. Instagram, She's Everything 2019. YouTube, She's Everything with Dawn Marie. And I'm going to make sure that this information is on my website. Her products are amazing. So make sure. My wife had a really bad toothache, and my sister-in-law brought some teas over, and the teas that my wife drank helped to alleviate that pain. So whatever you need, give her a call. Talk to her. She can make whatever you need, whether it's soaps and bath salts, or even if it's some type of healing products. So make sure you follow her on Facebook, follow her on Instagram, follow her on YouTube, email her. She's everything 2019@yahoo.com, and give her a call at 313-615-7222. Also, if you would like to get in contact with us, the email address is nealdownproductions1@gmail.com. So make sure you email us if you have any questions, ideas for future shows or whatnot. And also, if you would like to donate to Neal Down Productions, you can definitely do so. You can go to PayPal, just type in @NealDownProductions, or put the email address in, nealdownproductions1@gmail.com, or through Cash App, the $ Neal Down Pro. We have some big things coming up later this year, and we are truly excited about them. So if you would like to donate, you can feel free to do so. You can also go to the website, www.nealdownproductions.com, and you can click on that donate tab. And all of these sites, PayPal, Cash App, and our website, they are all secure. So you do not have to worry about anybody hacking you or getting your information. So again, make sure you check those things out. We truly appreciate you. Listen, next week, you all remember back in October, I believe it was, I talked to a young lady named Nyambi Nicole. She wrote a play called Dear Future Husband. She gave us her heartbreaking testimony about the relationships that she had been in, and when she finally got her knight in shining armor, the man that she had waited so long for. A year later, he passed away. It was such a tragic story. Amen. But that's not how the story ended, right? God is still moving in her. God is still bringing blessings in her life. Her play sold out. They've traveled across the country doing that play. Well, guess what? Remember, she mentioned that they were making it into a movie? Well, that movie comes out not this Saturday, but next Saturday. So next Thursday on the show, we are going to have the directors of the movie, Richard Bass and Melissa Talbot, are going to be on the show. And Nyambi may pop up on the show. I'm sorry. Melissa and Richard are the producers of the show. Amen. The director may pop up on the show as well. So we don't know. We're excited. I know Richard and Melissa are going to be on the show, but we may have some other guests to join us on the show. So we are truly excited about next week. So don't miss that. That's next Thursday, April the 15th. Make sure you tune in live right here on the Neal Down Productions Facebook group page, as well as the Neal Down Productions YouTube channel. Thank you all for tuning in. Go to the description, get in contact with Aliah Minor of Calbert's Tax Services. As tax day is swiftly approaching, don't wait till the last minute. Get your taxes done so that you can get everything that's owed back to you. Again, we thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week on the show.